So let's see what this brave woman wants to tell us. Very brave to you, dear space cis and souls, for converting to Islam and making this big sacrifice, because it takes courage to go into a dangerous world like that, especially when everyone around you is already telling you that it's a very dangerous world to go into.
This will probably be my last TikTok video, at least for the foreseeable future. Today, I really need to address something that is a huge problem, not only in the revert community, but in the Muslim community online. And I do not see enough people speaking about it. So I'm coming on here today to raise my voice about this issue. So a few weeks ago, I started sharing online about my revert journey to Islam. And since then, between my TikTok and my Instagram, I have received thousands of DMs from men.
Thousands.
Intentions.
I don't want to laugh, but it's funny because it's so predictable. Like, I could have told you this before you made the decision to convert. People who know the Muslim world could have told you this a long time ago. This is so predictable. The same thing happens again and again and again.
Some, you could argue, don't know any better. They're like what you would call like village boys, whatever.
That's very offensive.
But not all of them. And I'm not here to categorize also, because I put them all in the same category in my mind. Creeps. And in the beginning...
Wait, she puts all Muslim men in the same category?
Now, all those who sent her messages, only all those thousands who said, marry me, marry me.
Brush it off. I tried to pretend like I didn't see it, which is what my friends advised me to do. But as time went on, it is something that has made me...
you can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone about this. Notice, what do they always know? To whatever you do, don't tell anybody, or you'll be causing pain to the ummah, and then the kuffar will use it against you, so just keep it quiet. It's exactly what lots of Muslims told the guy whose wife got by Sheikh Uthman. They're like, the kuffar are going to use this against Sheikh Uthman. It's like, notice, it's not, hey, let's get to the bottom of this, and if true, then yeah, he needs to be blasted. It's, even if it's true, you got to protect Sheikh Uthman so that he continue doing his dawah, even if he's all our wives behind the scenes. Who cares?
You have to cover up your brother's sin, especially if he's doing such a fantastic job at defending and spreading Islam. You can't harm the reputation of Islam, and therefore you should hide it.
Has become a deal breaker with me regarding making content online. If this is what I have to put up with in order to share my story or in order to create content, then this is not a community that I want to be part of.
What community? Think about this. They're TikTokers, and they convert to Islam because it becomes the new cool thing to do and a new easy way to get attention. And then she gets so much harassment from the ummah that she's like, oh, now I can't even make content anymore. It's like, wait, wasn't that why you converted in the first? Why don't you just deconvert? Oh, because now you'd be an apostate and they'd be harassing you for that? Oopsie. When you're converting for attention because it becomes a cool thing to do, and you're either going to start harassing you with, well, you have to follow this, no, you can't eat that, no, you can't do this, you need to dress like this, you need to do this, how dare you say that, how dare you do this, you need to be doing this. And it's much, much worse if you're a woman. If you're a man, you get a free pass for lots of stuff. If you're a popular guy, if you're really popular, then they'll just let you slide. You can slide on anything. For the women, they're either going to get harassed day and night on how they're supposed to talk and dress and everything they're supposed to do. What are these girls going to do once they realize, oop, it wasn't worth the 5 minutes of popularity? What are they going to do? They're going to leave Islam? Then they'll end up getting harassed for what? For being apostates.
I'm not out here to bash anyone, but the behaviors that I have seen in the past few weeks are completely indefensible, in my opinion. I'm not an object.
You're not an object in Islam? That's exactly what you are.
What are you talking about?
You're a tilth. Allah says you're a tilth. You're a parcel of land to be That's what you are, according to what he says. You're a tilth. Read your Quran, girl. Surah 2, verse 223. Pow.
And I know that I should be able to separate between Islam and the people.
Oh.
You know, between the perfect religion and imperfect people.
The perfect religion? My goodness.
You can't do that. You just can't do that. It doesn't work.
This is what happens. This is what happens when dumb people who've never studied a religion get all their information about the religion from TikTok videos, and then they convert based on these TikTok videos, and then all they know about Islam is from the TikTok videos, and then they start running into actual Muslims, and well, it can't be because of the perfect religion. I absolutely guarantee if we sat down with her and we started asking her about Quran and Hadith passages, she would have absolutely no clue what we're talking about. She has absolutely no familiarity with what Islam teaches at all.
First, Surah 2, verse 282 of the Quran is an outrageously long verse dealing with contracts. But there's an interesting part in the middle that says, "And get 2 witnesses out of your own men, and if there are not 2 men available, then a man and 2 women, such as you agree for witnesses, so that if one of the 2 women, errs, the other can remind her. If 2 men aren't available as witnesses, then get a man and 2 women." Here we find the Islamic principle that the testimony of a woman is worth half the testimony of a man. Why is this? Muhammad explains in Sahih al-Bukhari 2658. The Prophet said, "Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man?" The women said, "Yes." He said, "This is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind." These teachings of Allah and Muhammad, combined with other problematic teachings, such as the need for 4 male witnesses if you're accusing someone of sin, have made it enormously difficult for Muslim women to testify against men in court. Some women aren't as quick to obey their husbands as Allah and Muhammad demand. So what are Muslim men supposed to do about rebellious wives? Allah answers in Surah 4, verse 34. "Men are in charge of women because Allah hath made the one of them to excel the other, and because they spend of their property for the support of women. So good women are obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah hath guarded. As for those from whom you fear rebellion, admonish them and banish them to beds apart and them. Then if they obey you, seek not a way against them." If your wife doesn't obey you, you warn her, banish her to a separate bed, and her until she does what you say. In Sahih al-Bukhari 5825, Muhammad's bride Aisha sees a woman whose Muslim husband her so severely her skin turned green. Aisha takes the woman to Muhammad and says, "I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing women. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes." This is Aisha, Muhammad's favorite wife, who's called the mother of the faithful, saying that Muslim women were being treated worse than pagan women. Why were Muslim women being treated so horribly? Here's why. And if you're expecting Muhammad to punish the man who his wife until her skin turned green, you haven't been listening. Muhammad rebuked the woman for being a bad wife. And here we are 14 centuries later, and the situation hasn't changed. Why hasn't it changed? Because many Muslim communities today take that first Muslim community as their model. They take the teachings of Muhammad and the Quran as authoritative. If we want to see lasting change in our lifetimes, we have to challenge the pattern laid down by Muhammad and the Quran. In Sahih Muslim 2127, Muhammad sneaks out of Aisha's house in the middle of the night. Aisha doesn't trust him. Can't blame her for that. The guy was a total freak. Who knows what he was doing when he snuck out of the house in the middle of the night. So she follows him in order to keep an eye on him. After he heads home, she runs ahead and gets home before him and pretends to be asleep. But he hears her breathing heavily from running. So he decides to teach her who's boss. Let's read the passage. Muhammad ibn Qais said to the people, "Should I not narrate to you a hadith of the Holy Prophet on my authority and on the authority of my mother?" We thought that he meant the mother who had given him birth. He, Muhammad ibn Qais, then reported that it was Aisha who had narrated this. He hastened his steps, and I also hastened my steps. He ran, and I too ran. He came to the house, and I also came to the house. I, however, preceded him, and I entered the house. And as I lay down in the bed, he, the Holy Prophet, entered the house and said, "Why is it, O Aisha, that you are out of breath?" I said, "There is nothing." He said, "Tell me, or the subtle and the aware would inform me." I said, "Messenger of Allah, may my father and mother be ransom for you." And then I told him the whole story. He said, "Was it the darkness of your shadow that I saw in front of me?" I said, "Yes." He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain, and then said, "Did you think that Allah and his apostle would deal unjustly with you?" He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain. He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain. What's amazing here is that Muslims lose their minds when you quote this passage to them. It doesn't mean that he hit her. It only means that he gave her a shove, or that he poked her, or that he pushed the evil out of her with his holy Hadouken. But why in the name of common sense would Muslims think that women is bad when Allah tells you to rebellious wives into submission in Surah 4, verse 34 of the Quran? Fact, Muhammad and his companions were wife. If you think that wife is morally wrong, congratulations. You're a better person than Muhammad and his companions.